Next storyteller that I would like to bring up right now is Sarah Kim. Do we have Sarah Kim in the house? That's you. That's why you know what your name is. All right.
Hello, everyone. I just found out tonight that we're supposed to tell a story about taking a leap of faith from an entrepreneurial point of view. So I have to think of my story really quickly. I don't know what I'm going to say. On December 26, 2004, my life completely changed. I got a voicemail from my best girlfriend, and she said, I heard there was a big wave in Southeast Asia, and it sounds really bad. It sounds like a lot of people got hurt. It might not be a good time to go. The first thing I did was go straight to my computer, and there in the New York Times, I read about the devastation in Southeast Asia and the hundreds and thousands of people that had been killed. And I also learned that the resort I was supposed to be on 3 days later in Koh Phi Phi Island, Charlie's Beach Resort, was completely wiped out with no living survivors. And this really made me think about the way I was living my life. During that time, I was vice president of institutional sales, working on Wall Street with hedge funds. And I had a very lucrative career. But now I felt like, wow, I really have a second chance in life. What would I do? And I think when we start to ask deeper questions, the universe really smacks us in the face with deep answers. And a number of very strange synchronicities happened that all pointed to one tiny surf town on the coast of Costa Rica called Nosada, where there was a place called Nosada Yoga that I had never heard about before, but had now heard about from 3 separate sources in 1 week. And I felt like this was a sign from God. I had always wanted to travel around the world. It was my dream ever since I was 15 years old. And I really wanted to study yoga because meditation had really transformed my life. That same year, my company promoted me to partner and offered to open an office for me in San Francisco. So now the stakes were higher. And I grew up in a very poor immigrant family. We grew up below the welfare line. So it was a really difficult decision because I always, looked for security and finance. So I agonized over this, and I felt deeply called to listen to the sign that I thought was so obvious from the universe about what to do. And I was afraid not to listen to that inner voice. I felt like if I didn't listen to that inner voice, that something very bad was going to happen. And I just couldn't describe it, but everyone thought I was crazy for considering leaving my job position. So I called my mom, and I told her what I was thinking about doing. And she said, just follow your heart. And that's what I did. I took a leap of faith. I walked away from a job that paid me almost $500,000 a year, declined partnership, and I sold everything that I had. I rented my apartment and flew to Costa Rica to take a 1-month teacher training program that completely changed my life. I never dreamed I would ever teach yoga. I never dreamed that I would teach meditation. After that, it led me on a journey around the world. I went ahead and backpacked. I packed a backpack and a yoga mat, and I just did everything that I really loved and that I was interested in. So I learned Thai massage in Thailand, and I learned about Reiki, healing, and I really fell in love with the healing arts. The first time I had a healing session, I didn't even know what it was, but I knew that it was going to be my life, and it felt like coming home. So after the travels for about a year around, mostly in Asia and India, I came back, and one of my clients, a hedge fund manager, had seen me, and he said, come into my office. I want you to show me all the things that you had learned. And I was going to coaching school at Georgetown University. And I said, I learned yoga and meditation. And he said, yeah, whatever it is, you look very peaceful now, so I need that. So I went to his office, and we're on his office floor, and we're stretching and giving him a healing session. And at the end, he said, oh, wow, I feel so amazing. And I had no idea what I was really doing, but somehow I was integrating coaching, healing, meditation all together. And he gave me a check. And that was the beginning of what I do now. And I just think that when you take a leap of faith, what you're really doing is you're taking a leap of faith towards yourself and your heart. And when you do that, magic doors open, invisible hands come up, and you just touch a very deep and wondrous part of life.
Thank you, Sura Kim. Thank you very much. Wonderful. There were so many parts of that story that sounded incredibly dirty if you were on the other side of the room, paying half attention. But I look forward to the magical, mystical hands touching me from as if from nowhere. I heard that that's a thing. I'm going to start with the judgment of Sura Kim over here in the middle with Team Judge Dread, the dreadiest judge, the judge that I dread the most. I haven't ever judged a dread more dready than a 10. Are you part of it? A 10.9 from Team Judge Dread. A 10.9 from Team Judge Dread on the second. And over here on the left from Bears and the Bulls, a 10.2 from the Bears and the Bulls. 10.2 from Bears and the Bulls. Bulls and Bears? Bears and Bulls. Bears and Bulls? All right. As I understand, one of them is bad and one of them is good. Well, if you're me, you're not on either side, because you don't have any money. And over here on the right with those saucy Santas. 10-4 from the saucy Santas. 10-4 from the saucy Santas.